All right, everybody. Last chap, well, not necessarily last chapter. Last chapter for the first day is chapter 14, mandated reporting. Let's get in. So, abuse, physical. Aside from the obvious physical assaults, this includes chemical restraints, use of meds to control someone, physical restraints used inappropriately, bed rails to keep someone in bed without a plan, seat belts to keep someone in their wheelchair, controlling power to a wheelchair, even withholding of dentures, hearing aids, walkers. Um, and use of physical restraints is only appropriate in a health and safety situation and is always the last resort. Any other use of restraint is abuse. So, any kind of physical restraint we use, we have to get an exception to policy, which is going to happen very rarely. And especially the use of meds. We never use medication to restrain somebody. Um, and it should be used very liberally as often as possible. Mental abuse, swearing in front of the individuals is verbal abuse and illustrates the importance of professional behavior at work. Examples of ridicule, intimidation, coercion might include don't be a baby. What's wrong with you? This is easy. You better not do that or you'll be in trouble. Thought I was your favorite staff. After your tantrum this morning, there's no way I'm taking you to your guitar lesson. We don't do that. That is not okay. And you will have a conversation with your supervisor if this does occur. Mental abuse is very wrong, and we should never be demonstrating this with the people that we serve. If you see somebody or hear somebody doing that, then you need to report it and ensure that the person that you're working with isn't treated that way anymore. Sexual abuse and exploitation. Sexual abuse, in addition to any non consensual contact, emphasize that any sexual contact between staff and a supported individual is abuse. Any assistance with personal hygiene that makes a person feel uncomfortable in shaving or removing hair from the genital area, unless it is formally stated in the person's plan, is potentially sexual abuse. Due to the diagnosis of some people we support, even if the person requests this kind of assistance, it must be approved before proceeding. Exploitation. Financial is one type, and attempting to influence religious or political practices are another. Self-neglect. For those who fail to care for themselves or refuse support services necessary to ensure health and safety, report self-neglect while advocating for other supports for the person. Sometimes they need additional funding for care or could benefit from mental health assessment and counseling. And this does happen, in which case we need to provide them with more support and more care. Um, they will often be the people who tell us to go away, that they don't need us, that they can take care of themselves, but they end up with bruises or they fall or they have um, incontinence, and so they get rashes often on their bottoms. We need to be extra vigilant to help them take care of themselves because they don't know that they are self neglecting. We might have to ask for more support from DDA for that reason. Financial exploitation. Guardians and advocates of adults are subject to investigation too. We do not need proof to report. We are all mandatory or mandated reporters and don't have to have proof or be a witness to the abuse. We must call if we have reason to believe or suspect abuse and neglect. All adults in supported living programs are vulnerable adults. We may feel vulnerable if targeted by aggression from supported individuals, but we do not meet the legal definition of a vulnerable adult. If there is no reasonable cause of an injury based on individual's known condition or disability, we report examples of known and predictable interactions with surroundings. We might be see bruising on shins that occur if playing soccer without shin guards, or bite marks on the wrist from self-injury are different than bite marks on the back of the arm or leg, clearly not self-inflicted. These situations would be documented to monitor health and safety, but would not constitute in an abuse report. Mandatory reporting. When to report and to who? Our company policy states that you, as a mandated reporter, must make the call to the reporting hotline for your program. Your second call is to your program supervisor to notify him or her of your report. This allows your supervisor to follow DDA required abuse reporting follow-up procedures. Supervisor can ensure the person supported is safe. This protects you as a mandatory reporter. This ensures your suspicions or reasonable cause to believe are investigated, therefore avoiding the potential for abuse to continue. If needed, 911 will need to be contacted for further follow-up. Who do you report to? CPS is Child Protective Services for suspected abuse and neglect of children 18 years and younger. APS, Adult Protective Services, for older adults in the community when neglect or abuse is suspected. RCS, Residential Care Services, for adults living in care facilities or supported care agencies when abuse or neglect is suspected. You can find more information, the DDA policy 6.12. This is the URL for that file. And please, by all means, go online and look it up. It has a lot of information in it, and it's very important in keeping the people we support safe and healthy. You are shopping with the individual you support. He hands his money to the clerk at the counter to purchase his food. A friend from work walks up to say hi. Jay walks away to greet his friend. The clerk hands you $3 in change. You suddenly remember Jay drank your energy drink last week when you accidentally left it in his refrigerator. Technically, he owes you $3. Should you just take the change? He forgot about his change after all. Is this abuse? No, you should not take his change. And yes, that would be abuse if they did. Um, when a client drinks something of yours or takes something of yours, you need to report it to your supervisor. Generally, we're not actually in the people we serve, their home. So this kind of thing shouldn't be happening. Unless you're in like the actual home of the person you're serving. I forgot we do have some of those. And but most likely there's a place for you to put your stuff so it's out of the way and not uh temptation for the people that we serve. So no, we should never take clients' money um even if we think they owe us. They don't owe us. The agency will pay you back. So that's the end of mandated reporting. If you have any questions, we can do them in the check-in, and hope that you understand this material, and I will see you soon.